Okay, what is going on? I'm Zedmont, and it is Saturday morning, which means it is time for Boom Beach Warships sneak peeks. I don't know why they moved to Saturdays. Personally, I kind of hate it. But nonetheless, scrolling over, code Zedmont does not work here because it's the dev build. Dev build is a private server run by Supercell that if you have 5,000 subscribers, you can get access to if you make Boom Beach videos. So otherwise, and I mean, it's boring, folks, but every time I make a video, people are like, where'd you get the resources? Where's the hacked APK? So nonetheless, the chicken bit is done, and now it is time for the stone to be unturned. So, jumping into the Admiral's monologue. Commander, we've received reports that some of our strongest troops have been lost at sea. In their absence, we'll need innovative strategies to turn the tides. Part of the problem with last season, there were no laser rangers, there were no bombardiers, so this is starting to concern me a little bit. But fortunately, our prototype reserves stand ready for battle. Good, I like that. Prove your worth as a commander and lead with a heart of stone. So this season was made by Stoneheart, and one of the disadvantages Mr. Chicken had was that his season came after a very good season. His season was designed like a year ago or so, and so it didn't hit the right nerves with some people. Stoneheart does not have that issue coming after well, first of all, what in the world is with this ramp? Okay, so is there flying troops? What? Okay, there's strike one. This ramp is obscene. This ramp is ridiculous. And maybe if someone was nice enough, I guess with Rainmakers you can range a little bit if someone was nice enough to put a engine room right there. I guess maybe that's the thought, that maybe you could drop a Rainmaker over here. I'm going to give Stoneheart the pass on this. I'm going to assume that that was intended, and we'll just carry on forwards. We have the landing craft boost. Now, this was a bug before. You had to be careful of when you used it. I checked. It's not a bug anymore. That's a bonus. And we got a lot of weird stuff happening. I really do like this, though, because you'll notice there are shock launchers and boom cannons. There's no flamethrowers. There's no machine guns. You will be able to get all of the engine rooms. It just might take you a while. So if we boost that up, and then we boost up the landing craft boost, you can now get 2 mechs in those landing crafts. But you can see right about now that we're going to run into a bit of a problem. You don't have enough reserves to fill your troops. So in order to fill your landing crafts, if you want to use mechs, which I'm not condoning or suggesting, you do need to get them up to, I believe, tick 4? And as you saw by the fact that I'm out of tokens now, those get expensive a little bit quickly, and as does the landing craft boost. Maybe you're going to wait a little bit for that, because if you're not using mechs, maybe you're using Zookas. It's not that big of a deal, but you do have to go through it, so I retract that. Regardless, now you'll notice that we finally have enough. Do we finally have enough reserves? I don't think we do quite yet. So our reserve size is 18. There we go. So we can load these puppies up. We'll send some diamonds. We've got all boats of mechs. Now, you don't want to drop them over here because they'll just stand around. But that's where unlocking Rainmakers, I suppose, would be interesting. And then there is your first choice node. Now, one thing that this season does not have that I noticed, that really neat, interesting tech level goodness. The tech level locks are not there. The negative nodes are not there. So this season, I'm going to guess, was again built a while ago. Maybe not, but regardless, it's lacking some of the new features from some of the newer seasons. Again, not a knock, just an observation. And then we're going to get into shock mines. You'll notice that 60% gunboat energy is a lot better than when they're just 30, 30, 30, because no one ever picks gunboat energy. So I do like that tweak as well. That one seems to have got some thought behind it. And so now we are going to move forward into that next engine room level, and that ramp on that right-hand side gets even more obscene. Again, that is just Rainmakers, I suppose. I guess it's keeping people honest and keeping them off that right-hand side ramp, which is a new little wrinkle. You're not going to put a landing craft there. Maybe you can put one back there. Do be very careful with the range of Rainmakers, though, because that could be a problem. And then Crystal Shields. And Crystal Shields, not my favorite, but it's in the game. It'll keep your troops alive, so that doesn't hurt. Troop health, lots and lots of troop health, always a good thing. So nothing here is screaming fizzle meta. This is very, very well thought out, good 2-engine room level. I don't think there's any possibility of fizzling. I don't think you'll even lose all that many troops. Maybe you're going to send a couple, like one boat of Zookas in front of your mechs, but mechs have so much health and you need to max them. That's the only thing that kind of sucks right there, is that mechs are our primary troop. And in order to use them in the landing crafts, you're going to need to spend some diamonds, or you're going to need to spend some tokens there. Tiny, tiny, tiny little... Just, it raises an eyebrow. And then Brick is off on her own, and then 20, 40, 20, keeping that pattern with lots and lots and lots of gunboat energy. And then same pattern, even more gunboat energy, and things start to get... like, we've got it far enough in that we're starting to get some boom cannons, or maybe some extra shock launchers and some cannons and a grappler. That up there. Oh, it's a Lasertron. Lasertrons aren't bad. Let's be honest, they're probably not going to be useful. So the fact that they're up there, that's fine. I mean, whatever. Let's keep going. Rainmaker boost. Look at this. We're getting some extra Rainmaker goodness. Do we have... We did get Rainmakers back there. Okay, so obviously you need to get something here, and this is going to be the blocker. This is going to be a big, big blocker. You have to go up and get Lasertrons, or you have to go up and get Scorchers, or you have to go up and get Rainmakers. Reminder, Rainmakers are going to be slow. With an asterisk, though, we've got Speed Serum, which will solve some of that. So... interesting, good, using, that's kind of like a negative node, but not, if that makes sense. And now, level gate is unlocked. That's because I do have the boom pass. I wonder if I can cancel the boom pass just to double check what that level gate is. Okay, so there you go, headquarters level 12. So the Admiral's key is still in effect. I wish it would go away, but alas, it has not. So then we've got this little like roundabout up here where you can go up and get rocket launchers, and things start to get a little bit spicy at this point. So finally that right-hand side ramp doing something, and now the left-hand side ramp is doing nothing. Notice that all three of these will be in danger from those Rainmakers though, so you probably maybe want to pick the Rainmakers just so that you can keep people honest with these ramps. Because with Scorchers or Lasertrons, that's not going to do anything useful. And unless I'm missing something, like there's no jumping troops here, there's no flying troops, there's no other long-range troops. So I feel like this season was kind of designed around the Rainmaker being the equalizer. And then we're going to get into sniper towers, and 4 sniper towers, two cannons to 1 rocket launcher is a fairly decent ratio. I like, don't mind that. And that is the first building health, I think. That is the first. So we don't have any building damage. We don't have any building health. There's our little tiny, like 20% building damage. So up until now, this is going to be very popular with people who don't have instant training, because there's no reason for your troops to die. And then if you really, really want to make sure you don't lose any troops, there is your shock bomb, and there are your critter cannons. And critter cannons are on the shortest path. Is that the shortest path? 20. I guess they're not on the shortest path. The shortest path would be through medkits, which are also going to be popular. And Ruddero back on Warships. That bombing run with a lot of GBE. And then we're going to have... Where's the troop damage? Is there troop damage? No. So there's 30% building damage, but you're going to be tickling buildings. So you're probably going to want that troop damage back there if you're going to get Ruddero. And again, more shock blasters and your first sky shield. And let's just go through those critter cannons. And those critter cannons could do decent things across the gap. And there is your 5-engine room deck. It's got some decent little holes in it. The ramps are Like, what in the world? This left-hand ramp is ridiculous. I kind of like it because it's so ridiculous, but just be aware, if you drop troops on that left-hand side ramp, you're going to be swearing. Like, just straight up grumpy. You're going to be very, very, very grumpy. And has the ramp always... It looks like it looks slightly different on the left-hand side. Am I crazy here? Okay, we'll keep going. Maybe I just haven't paid attention to that in a second. And speaking of keeping troops alive, Clone Riflemen. Clone Riflemen are so good. So this season looks like an absolute A+ for people who don't have instant training. You just spam these troops and off you go. And then another rocket launcher. What's that? We're at like 6 rocket launchers, potentially. And then finally getting into machine guns and troop health and building damage. Putting those two side by side is a pretty smart play because one's going to slow down the other. And then we get into crystal critters and some other critters and some deployable turrets and GBE abilities that maybe will do something. Reminder that deployable turrets will have your troop damage statues, so they can't move, but they can do a decent punch. Pack a decent punch, I should say. Tanks, meh. And then into doom cannons, and yep. So how this is going to shake out, I don't know. It feels like it's going to be just an offensive push to start with, and then maybe it'll shift towards a defensive push at the end. And there's your 6 engine room deck, and it continues to have these ridiculous gaps. Again, I'm sure there's going to be some people swearing. They're going to drop their troops over there, and they're going to be frustrated. But that's where Ruddero would take out those 3 engine rooms. He would catch those dudes having a siesta and just absolutely crush those engine rooms. So that's where Ruddero could be the difference maker there. Obviously, all of you do remember his bombing run being super, super strong and getting people into diamond ridiculously quickly. And then remote defib. Remote defib don't care where you drop your troops. You can put them wherever the heck you want. And in this season, you have to upgrade remote defib if you want to get those 25 spots. It's 21 spots. Yeah, okay. I saw the tech level and got it confused with the spaces. Into Flamethrowers, which I don't know how useful they're going to be, but against Clone Riflemen, probably quite decent. Shock blasters. This is tech go on forever. And then into artillery and barrage. So I feel like upgrade tokens are going to be very, very, very plentiful. We'll see if the chest sizes have changed because I am an expert at chest sizes. And so we are going to have a quick look at that in a second. Going through smoke to get that troop damage. I don't know what the stats are for this season, but they seem low. They seem... Until we get into here. 3 CMOs, 2 Flotsams versus 4 Boom Surprises. And CMOs are going to be good because of their range, but do remember, Rainmakers do outrange them. Boom Surprise, and again, Flotsam Cannons probably will be a good answer if people are using Clone Rifle. Like, there's all sorts of different options here. Regardless, we're going to go into there, and the return of the Laser Rangers. I like the fact that they're back. That is fantastic. But there's no critter launchers, which is... Oh, there they are. Okay, so I knew I missed something. There is your critter launchers. There are some extra... Again, good ratios. 1 critter launcher to 3 cannons to 6 sniper towers. I like that better than when it's like 1 to 1 to 1 or 1 to 2 to 1. Overall, seems like a pretty good tree. Seems like, I mean, I can't even guess what the meta is going to be at the end at the top of my head. I feel like Clone Riflemen are going to be maybe clones with Laser Rangers. Is Kavon not in? Oh, there he is. Damn. I was kind of hoping Kavon was not in the tree, but he is behind a fairly expensive node, and he's pretty expensive on his own. So into some troop damage, and then over there into bumping up the Clone Rifleman levels, and remembering that we can get 2 Rainmakers or 2 Scorchers on these landing crafts, just cluing in now. But grapplers, maybe the grappler will actually help you get over onto, maybe that's how people are going to plan to get over that landing ramp. We're going to go with the Laser Ranger boost just because, and then building health at the very end. So there is a reason to push into 7 engine rooms right there on its own. And what is at the end? More grapplers, more doom cannons. And overall, seems like a pretty good tree. It seems like I can't even guess what's going to happen. I mean, I think that Ruddero is probably going to be the hero of choice just because of all of these gaps. Like even at the 7 engine room level, there's one tiny little choke point. 99.9% of troops have to come over here. But if you got Rainmakers, this entire little, what is that called? A peninsula is susceptible to those Rainmakers. So if you have to choose, I think that's a gimme. Like if you have to choose between Lasertrons and Scorchers, don't sleep on the Rainmakers, because every single one of these layouts has this gap that you can't get across, but Rainmakers can just drop rain Seattle, Vancouver style all over that action. So, yeah, seems very interesting. Looking forward to what it can bring. Love the fact that Chicken made a season. Love the fact that Stoneheart made a season. And if you're like, Zed, is there going to be like an A, B, C, D, Z season next? Not a frickin' chance. I do not have the time, the patience, the wherewithal to make a season balanced. And my skin is just too thin for it, I think. So, kudos to those two guys for putting their seasons forward. But let's just get our hands on these chests, shall we? Let's have a look here. 15 into 16 into 18, you guessed it, into 20, into 22, and then of course into 25. Now let's just double check. I think it's like 330 usually. Maybe I'm wrong on that number. Maybe the chest upgrade, have those changed a little bit? Possibly. Regardless, if anything, there's more in them. They're bigger chests than we're used to, so I feel like there's going to be a lot of upgrade tokens. But especially, I mean, anytime artillery and barrage are in a choice node, which I probably would be going with artillery. And by the way, before you go, Zed, you've missed you've missed it. Explosive drones with the crystal shield protector. They did mention in a changed note a while back that those no longer work together. So do consider subscribing, checking the comments, all the rest to see if they actually explode twice. I have a feeling they don't anymore. So I think this node is a gimme. I think everyone's going to get artillery. It's cheaper. You can clear a shock mine. And speaking of shock mines, I did not see Seekers anywhere in here. So Chicken decided to have no Seekers, no Laser Rangers. Looks like Stoneheart has chosen to have no Bombardiers and no Seekers. So interesting that both of them chose to have no Seekers, which, again, that's the beauty of making the season. You make the season the way you want it, and you leave out the things you don't want to deal with. So no rocket choppas, no buses, no Seekers. It's going to be very interesting. Not many of these troops are terribly quick until you get into Laser Rangers, and that deck doesn't look super kind to Laser Rangers. So critter cannons, maybe critter cannons are the answer. Anyways, critter cannons, probably not, but definitely these guys right here, Clone Riflemen, are always a fan favorite because they last forever. The Shockeneer, maybe you mix a boat of Shockeneers in there if things get too dirty, but regardless, that's it for my sneak peek. Little bit on the light side, I know, but just got the dev build today because of problems with the dev build and the devs and the delivery platform and upgrades and yada yada yada. Anyways, that is my sneakage of the peekage. Hopefully it gives you some insights, gets you thinking, and gets you excited. So, as always, let me know in the comments which path you plan to go, what you think about the season, and what you thought about the sneak peek. That's it for me. I'm Zedmont. Thanks for coming in. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Peace.